Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. You guys know how much I love fishing clear water. I live up here in the North Country where we've got a ton of natural lakes that have visibility, all the way up to 20 feet down. We're talking gin clear bodies of water. And today I want to share with you some of my favorite baits for fishing in this clear water that might actually surprise you. Traditionally, your clear water fisheries, everyone wants to think about finesse presentations, whether that's like a little Ned rig, maybe a hair jig, a drop shot, your standard jerk baits. Generally speaking, clear water indicates to downsize or throw more finessey type approaches, but that is 100% not always the case. In fact, I would say a lot of times you can have some of your best action on some of these non-traditional baits that I want to share with you. So before I do get into that though, I want to remind you, if you're looking to purchase tackle and want to support the channel, please use my Tackle Warehouse affiliate link. I'll put the link in the video description for you. I'll put links to the baits that I want to talk about today as well, so you can go right to it if you want to purchase these. Also, I want to just throw out there that I have started doing the lake breakdowns again with fishthemoment.com. So if you're looking for some help on one of your local lakes, I will put the link for that in the video description as well. All right, so as I mentioned, most of the time, anglers like to think that clear water means they should be throwing finesse, downsized, small little baits, and that's not always the case. So I want to share with you these baits specifically that have really outperformed with me. Now, one of the first ones is one of, I would say, the favorite baits in dirtier water, and that's this guy right here, your vibrating jig. So this is a Berkley slobber knocker. I've got the power stinger on the back. The reality here is your vibrating jigs are a dynamite fish catching tool in your clear water. Whether it's largemouth, spotted bass, smallmouth, you can catch a lot of fish on these baits when you feel like you shouldn't be doing it. Up here in the North Country, big smallmouth, love them. Largemouth, love them year round. It's just unbelievable to me how you'll draw fish to this bait. They can see it from a long distance away, they can feel it from a long distance away, and they still want to come up and eat that thing. It's one of the most underutilized baits, I would say, in clear water, but a vibrating jig catches them still really, really good. So that's one bait. The next one is this guy right here. So this is a Duo Realis G87. It's a big crankbait. This dives into that 15-foot range. But really what I want to talk about is the big cranks. This is one of my favorites, but a big crankbait is one of the most underutilized baits as well in clear water. For me up here, I love to bang them off deep rock humps. I love to fish them on deep outside weed lines, but they generate strikes. A lot of times you'll see this bait coming back to the boat from a long distance away because it is producing some flash, and it's just a big profile bait where you can see it. The thing is, the fish love it. It's one of my favorite search baits. Like I said, a deep outside weed line, if you're willing to throw a crankbait on a deep outside weed line where you can rip it through the grass and rip it off that edge and get it to come through clean, it's going to generate some really big strikes, and it catches really good size. It's just amazing to me. Like, this is one bait for years I never threw in clear water. And I happened to be fishing with another guy who put on a crank and he started catching them really good. And since that day now, big deep diving crankbaits are one of my juice things to throw up here in the North Country. Again, doesn't really matter what species, they all eat it. Spotted bass, smallmouth, largemouth. The key with a big crankbait like that G87, that's the 15A model, is that it just generates reaction strikes. So the fish, a lot of times I think in clear water, the fish will come look at the bait. They can see it from a far distance. They'll get up behind it and they'll track it more. And you need something that will generate them into reacting on that bait and actually striking the bait. So they're tracking it, and then all of a sudden there's something that triggers them. And these baits all kind of do that. Your crankbaits will really track off center and come back, and it's that quick movement that will generate a strike. The same thing with your vibrating jigs. You're snapping that, you're creating a lot of erratic movement, that will trigger it. And then the third one here that I want to talk about is a big giant jerkbait. This is the Megabass Canada. This is one that I picked up as soon as it came out. And I really picked it up with the idea that I could throw it for like early season muskies, because a 6-inch jerk bait is kind of a good bait to do with that. What I quickly found out was that I was catching way more big largemouth and smallmouth on this bait. Again, it's a really oversized jerk bait when you look at it, and you would think, why would I throw that in clear water situations? I think most of the time people would say you should actually downsize to like 100 size, you know, a smaller jerk bait than your traditional, you know, 4¼ inch, 4½ inch size. But I found that I've gotten really good success by upgrading the size, and this Canada is one of the few big jerk baits out there that I can generate a lot of strikes on. Just another really good bait for those instances where if you're looking to kind of weed out some of your small fish and really concentrate on bigger fish, this is one of those baits that I've had really good luck with. But again, jerk bait, slashing all over the place, generates those reaction strikes, which is one of the keys. And then the last bait I want to talk about here is your big creature style bait. So this is a Zoom brush hog, one of my favorite creature style baits, big profiled soft plastic. Again, most of the time in really clear water, anglers want to throw small plastics, you know, your little drop shot baits. You know, if you are throwing a craw style bait, generally it's a smaller, just craw profile. But I really like to go with the big creature baits under these conditions. I've had extremely good luck fishing the brush hog or other big creature baits in very clear conditions, whether I'm throwing it around docks, whether I'm throwing it on outside grass lines, whether I'm Carolina rigging on deep points. It just is one of those baits that generates good strikes. And I also want to say that in clear water, I think the fish a lot of times do key in on bigger objects, bigger bait, bigger forage, because they know they can get a good look at it, they can see it, and they're generally just, it's something that gets them to trigger. But these 4 baits, I would definitely say, are unconventional clear water baits that I've been using for years now, just having extremely good success. So I just wanted to share that with you, that you should not necessarily just key in on your finesse, downsized profiled baits in clear water. You can go big, you can go, you know, erratic action, you can power fish them. And these are ones that have been proven for me. So let me know in the comment section, do you have other baits that you really like to throw that are unconventional for really clear water conditions? If so, and you feel like sharing it, throw it in the comment section. I'd love to see what you have to say. I'm sure others would as well. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new video tomorrow for you.